Do you get temperature changes or fluctuations at all? Overly hot or cold?
I can get hot quite easily.
Interesting.
I didn't used to. I often had a lack of feeling in my hands in the winter and stuff, but I think in the last year and a half or so, I get hot quite easily now.
Yeah, there's some heat in the tip of your tongue, and your pulse is a little bit wiry. Can I have a look at your tongue? Is that okay? Is there anything clear? A little bit red on the tip, but nothing to be concerned about, and there's a good colour to the body, and the coating is fine. So, great.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. We'll put a prescription together for you to help relax your liver, to prevent it generating too much heat, which sometimes can turn into joint inflammation. It might help clarity and clear a little bit of background dampness that's obviously in a lot of people in the Western system because of the nature of. You see that in most people, so it's not a concern, but that's what the acupuncture will provide.
Hi guys, and thank you so much for watching this video. I'm just going to interrupt briefly here to give a big thank you to the sponsors of today's video, Manta Sleep Masks. So Manta sponsored one of my videos about a year ago now, and they provided me with this wonderful, wonderful sleep mask. It's their original product, and I love it so, so much. I've been using it for about a year now, and it really helps me when I take naps during the daytime, and also sometimes when I sleep at night and the room is just a bit too bright. So I'm so happy they reached out again to sponsor this video, because it meant I got to try out more of their wonderful, wonderful products. So I've got a few here to show you. First, I've got the cooling pads that attach to that original mask I just showed you. And these are so, so wonderful. I get quite tired eyes when I'm editing, and this just really, really helps. And I also find it a bit of a little beauty treat. It's very, very therapeutic and relaxing, even if I'm not napping and sometimes just meditating. Next, there is the silk mask, which is also a new favourite of mine. It's very, very soft and silky, a silk mask. And I've also heard about all the sort of beauty benefits of this sort of silky texture on the skin. So it's kind of an exciting product to be using when sleeping at night. And I find my hair is much less frizzy when using this one. Finally, there's the Manta Pro mask, which is really exciting to me because when you roll on your sides, the little pads here are created so that it doesn't kind of stop you against your pillow, and there's no friction there whatsoever, and it's really easy to toss and turn at night with these on. So those are my new lovely eye masks. I love, love, love all of them, to the extent that it's really, really hard to recommend just one of them to you all. All the details for Manta and a special promo code are down in the description below. Please enjoy the rest of the video.
Yeah, come. Hello. I haven't seen you for a little while.
Yeah, it's been a while. Yeah, I've been good. Yeah, relatively good. Yeah.
I think we saw you before. It was general fatigue and some digestive issues underlaying your sort of presenting condition.
Yeah.
Anything outstanding, maybe in the last few weeks or months, that you'd like to think about or bring up?
Yeah, digestive issues are gone. That I definitely haven't had in a long time. I'm actually surprised I had that because it's been so long I didn't realise. But the fatigue is still kind of there. I mean, gosh, like the first half of this year, I was almost entirely fine. And then only really recently it seems, I mean, I'm guessing, but it seems whenever I have like some alcohol or like loads and loads of bad food, I just kind of like am like shut down. And sometimes I get like a low-grade fever.
Wow.
I know.
Sensitive.
Yeah, it's on the top of my mind because it happened about last week. So I don't really understand why I'm getting so tired and fatigued.
You're so sensitive to not a really clear diet.
I know, because
does it upset digestion as well? Do you notice other symptoms or just the pronounced fatigue?
The symptoms, I guess, slightly joint pain, fatigue, and maybe not always a low-grade temperature, but only like 30. God, what was it? It was 37.6.
So some sort of inflammation in the background thing, something.
Yeah.
Possibly.
And the only
do you get
correlation
pain at all?
I see.
Any body pains? Or you say joint pains?
Yeah, I had pains in my legs. Not really anywhere else. Sometimes a headache. but I'm mainly speaking about the one last week. It really hasn't been for most of the year there, so I don't really know why.
Well, we now are coming in past the equinox, isn't it? Coming now into winter.
That's true, because I haven't had it since last winter. I didn't even think of that. Yeah.
So isn't it, the pivot point was September 21, and now we're already, and you can see how quickly dark it's getting. We're into this decline. Maybe you're sensitive. I mean, have you looked at blood markers and vitamin D? Vitamin D would come to mind.
Yeah, I have been told by the doctors that I'm quite low in vitamin D before.
Okay.
I actually changed my supplements about probably just December last year to a different multivitamin that might have a lot less vitamin D actually. I feel like as we're talking I'm realising all the things that it's
might
probably...
be something to look at. I mean, there might be a causal feature there. Are you taking any supplements? You mentioned you're taking some supplements. You're taking it out of just interest in any medicinal mushroom products? Things like...
Is that the not ashwagandha?
No, ashwagandha. Yeah, things like reishi, cordyceps, coriolis.
I tried one before. It was in a hot chocolate, and it was a general one.
It's popular in that way, but it's very good to strengthen your immune system. And if there is an underlying issue that's leading to intolerance, which then leads to joint pains, or there's some form of inflammation, a good full spectrum immune supplements support, which often the mushrooms do that really well. And sometimes there's products will produce 3 or 4, even 5 of them blended together. And it has a very helpful effect at strengthening components of the immune system that might be generating inflammation if it's not quite balanced correctly. So it's a really good supplement to put in, and have a look at vitamin D or foods containing vitamin D that you might increase into your diet at this time of the year. It might be quite helpful. Just generally to see how effective it does have an effect. And there's nothing wrong in doing a 1-month course of a good mushroom immune support complex and bring in some other supporting nutrients. In addition, we did some Chinese herbal medicine last time, didn't we? Which is another context to discuss or to explore, but that would be more focused on things like your tongue and your general Chinese medicine syndrome differentiation, which we haven't looked at yet. So initially, the general relationship between season, diet, energy levels, and supplementation, from a functional medicine type of perspective, that's things always to consider. And then what can we do with acupuncture or Chinese medicine? Can I have a look at your tongue? Is that okay? Anything clear? A little bit red on the tip, but nothing to be concerned about, and there's a good colour to the body, and the coating is fine. It's not swollen or scalloped. Maybe just a little bit of heat in the tongue, but nothing to worry about, nothing abnormal. If we take the pulses, do you get temperature changes or fluctuations at all? Overly hot or cold?
I can get hot quite easily.
Interesting.
I didn't used to. I often had a lack of feeling in my hands in the winter and stuff, but I think in the last year and a half or so, I get hot quite easily now.
There's some heat in the tip of your tongue, and your pulse is a little bit wiry and a little bit rapid, maybe because you're sitting here with me in this room with everything going on, or maybe not. So typically there is signs of heat, and sometimes that can lead, again, if you're feeling fatigued, can lead to symptoms that would respond to acupuncture and Chinese medicines, in addition to what we talked about in regard to the sort of more supplement base.
Do you have any recommendations for the mushroom ones? Because I think the ones I was trying they're quite expensive.
That's the problem. This guy I know, Martin Powell, used to work with him 30 years ago in East West Herb Shop in Neal's Yard before. I used to a Chinese medicine shop that was great, and he was Mr. Mushroom, and he's wrote the book on it. This is 30 years later. He's always supplied practitioners, so they've got access to very good products, but can pass that on to their patients. So this is a reishi curcumin complex. Interestingly enough, it's very good to support the core part the kidney energy, which might be in deficiency, but also curcumin, which is like a turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory. Things like fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome. Good choice. The one I was referring to is called immune support, again made by the same people, but it blends more mushrooms if you're looking to an immune deficient case. But there's other choices to be made. So something like this would suit you very well. It just happens to be on the desk. I hadn't pre-thought it. I don't have the immune support complex. I've just used the last one. But something like this would suit your presentation well. And then I would go further to think about what's underlaying the fatigue. Is it something as simple as the supplementation? Something like acupuncture could help certainly regulate and lift your energies, clear liver qi stagnation, which might be generating that internal heat. The acupuncture might be sufficient to do that. And then using a good mushroom product to support the immune system and to clear any inflammation tendency too. That's a sort of marrying modern acupuncture and sort of like functional medicine together. A Chinese herbal prescription, something similar to what we used before, I think would suit you, which is like a Xiao Yao San with some heat clearing. Xiao Yao San would be good for you too. So it depends what we decide and to prescribe. I wouldn't always say we'll throw everything at it to start with. I'd always say, well, the acupuncture is really good. Let that settle in and see how you're feeling as time progresses. A good supplement such as vitamin D and maybe a mushroom complex or something like that's also going to be very helpful. If you wanted to have the Chinese herbal medicines in there as well, then I could suggest a formula that would only help, but may not always be necessary to do all of the things all at once.
Like do gradually and see if form works.
Normally I'd see someone regularly for acupuncture, get familiar with how they're responding, and then think, what else can we do? What's needed? What you were saying about perhaps seasonal fatigue, definitely look at things as simple as vitamin D, because they're very affordable and accessible through food or from a health food shop. £20 for a month's supply of medicinal mushrooms. Well, why not?
That's much cheaper than the one I was getting.
But I get them. So he supplies me, so I make it affordable. I think it's part of the process of diagnosis and of what I'm doing. And he makes it available to do that. So it's
That's much better, because I couldn't continue it because it was so pricey that
That's a problem.
I knew there would be no effects if I had had it for like 1-2 weeks, and then
definitely. So £20 for a month, take 2 tablets, there's 60 tablets in there a day. Make sure your vitamin D is good. Use the acupuncture to relax your nervous system, which might be creating internal heat, and lift your energy so you feel clearer and more energized. And reflect. Come back for follow-up and see how you are then going forward. If we needed to bring in other prescribed medicines because there was a particular problem that's not clearing, we can then increase what we're just providing. But you often find that was a good dose, and the seasons change to re-stabilise and to reflect on why am I having these symptoms?
I hadn't even thought about the seasons being like impacting it at all. It completely crossed my mind, because the symptoms are so similar to last year. And then it kind of
this time
stopped.
last year, I think, when we saw you.
That's kind of why I booked in, because I was like, oh, it's happening again. It worked last time. But that's so weird. I hadn't even considered that. Which
you just get so busy, don't you? If you don't look outside sometimes. That seasonal change, but pivotal really. Spring and the autumn equinox are more tipping points than obviously the Christmas and the midsummer, which are the sort of the solstices, and it's obviously very pronounced there. But people forget that quite quickly it spins around. Going into spring and summer, or coming in from autumn into winter. That's when things are really moving and can be have an effect on your well-being quite strongly. So have a tune-up in a sense.
Oh, that's it. I'll definitely look into the vitamin D as well, because I think the reason I stopped the old one is because I had quite a high dosage of the vitamin D, but then I think with the multivitamin I was taking, I was worried it would be too much together. So maybe on and off or something.
And some people do chronically abuse and overdose on these, and I think that's a very good idea to overdo any of them, but if you do have a vitamin D measured levels which are quite low, then especially at this time of year, it's good to supplement them.
Yeah.
And your diet, do you say, is quite balanced? Are you having...
It fluctuates. It's not the best though.
But are you vegetarian or...?
No, I eat pretty much everything.
Okay, and your iron and general normal blood markers are normally within range?
Iron usually comes up as okay on blood tests and things like that. I do probably eat less meat than most people, but that's not really a choice. I just really like things like tofu and stuff.
Yeah, plant-based, it's all everything, isn't it? And it's so important for everything, for planet, for general health, and you know, occasional meat, unless you're, you know, it's a vegan and don't want to, limit the quantity and the quality.
The quality.
It's important. And same with the dairy, but obviously dairy has a lot of deep vitamins in them, so it's being careful to supplement right if you don't take too many.
I don't really have dairy much at all.
Right.
Not that I can think of, no. I don't drink any milk. I sometimes have halloumi, I guess, but that's about it.
So that's sort of like to have a look at where you can source good quality vitamin D from in a dietary sense, and if needs to be, certainly supplement it to a level, not crazy overdose, but a really good idea.
Yeah, definitely. That's great. I hadn't even... all these things that, like, now that you're saying them, I'm like, yeah, of course. But I hadn't even thought of something.
So away from that, general cycles, otherwise okay?
That's all good. All good. I haven't noticed anything off of my cycle ever. I think that's literally the only thing.
Headaches, dizziness?
Some headaches, but I'm pretty certain it's eye strain because the last few weeks I just keep not wearing my glasses.
Postural? If you get up quickly, you're not feeling too...
No, I'm fine, unless I'm already having some sort of like fatigue-y episode. Otherwise I'm usually quite fine and good. So,
great. Well, so we'll put a prescription together for you to help relax your liver, to prevent it generating too much heat, which sometimes can turn into joint inflammation. It might help clarity and give you some more fatigue, or clear a little bit of background dampness that's obviously in a lot of people in the Western system because of the nature of... You see that in most people, so it's not a concern, but that's what the acupuncture will provide. And then use the supplements if you want to take these. They will only strengthen your immune and reduce inflammation.
That'd be good.
We could prescribe your Chinese herbal medicine also to do exactly what we're doing with the acupuncture, which is calming liver qi, clearing heat, and supporting liver blood and the general, well-being and functioning of the acupuncture. And the mushrooms would be first in line with diet and vitamin D.
Okay.
And then if you did maybe follow up, say in a couple of weeks or whenever, and if you did then feel the presence of hasn't improved as much as you'd like, you just repeat the treatment and then bring in maybe some herbal medicine and see them and we'll treat you according to need, really.
Hopefully.
But this is in its own right quite a strong action.
That'll be good. I do worry because I have quite an extreme busy schedule, and I think now with suddenly getting quite sick last week, and then it's just quite an ominous sign of like, if I can't really stop if I do get sick, so I'm just...
well, you're here, made the right choice. But here we go, so we'll start with a treatment, change diet, put that in your diet, know that you can come and see me on a weekly basis if you want to.
Okay.
And that can then reflect need. And once you feel well, you reduce the frequency of treatment. If you're not feeling well, then we'll get you right. And then space out the time between treatments.
Thank you. I'm quite certain I'll be back because last time it worked, so I'm like, yes, it should be good. But I definitely would be interested in trying the mushrooms as well, because I think I just seem to be quite prone to getting like sicky, and it's just...
because you're saying when you get fatigued, then you get aching, and I'm thinking, for me, there's a few markers there which would say this is the right type of product. Along with the things we've spoken about, and a good acupuncture session. And
yes, that's always lovely too.
Put that into place. Well, any other questions? Anything else you want to think about?
I think the only other thing I thought about is I don't know if it's related, like if acupuncture can do anything with it, but like I notice my breathing is very shallow, and I do actively try to remind myself to properly breathe, but I don't know, maybe it's just stress and I'm not coping with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we want to do there is work with helping relax and be mindful of the breath. And there are other exercises, things like qigong or yoga, that you can incorporate into your well-being strategy, which should help you, especially as you're aware of this, to try and improve your breathing through mindful exercises.
Okay.
I can also, the tendency towards liver tension often makes it difficult to really just let go and have an easy breath.
Yeah.
So we'll release that tension throughout your system.
Okay.
Practice. Do you do any forms of meditation or qigong?
I've tried sometimes before, like sleeping, to do a bit of meditation, and sometimes I do, but when I'm really busy with work and then things after work, I just don't. It's like the first thing to go is always my health, as in like everything else work-wise is prioritised first, and then health is like a second priority, which is really bad.
Wow. Listen to yourself. Yeah.
I know.
I mean, finding some time to do at least half an hour, 2 or 3 times a week, and then it might be like lighting a candle, having a routine, and then maybe watching something on social media that's familiar, or listen to some music. Try and put in something that you like to do, and those types of yin type yoga or qigong breathing. There's lots available out, social content available, with people who can lead you through some, and sort of give yourself the permission to do that 3 times a week for, say, I don't know, an hour 3 times a week is only going to be about me interacting with learning new types of breathing, or new yin type yoga, or a qigong. What does moving hands like clouds mean? Give you a few pointers and some suggestions of where to look for activities that will bring you into the state of simple, relaxed breathing. And we can certainly get you relaxed and breathing relaxed through giving the yoga, the acupuncture, which would be a bit like having had a yoga class. But it gives you, reminds your body of how to let go of that tension, and then you can be more in touch with the breath. But then practice being in touch with the breath through exercises that you feel you want to explore.
Definitely.
There's lots of examples out there that I could lead you to, or there's lots that you could find through like what you're providing.
Yeah, I guess watching things like ASMR as well, although it's funny because that's almost lost on me now because I see it as work.
No, see.
I need to find new things, I guess. I'd be really interested in qigong and yoga. I do. It's one of those things that it's so bad and it sounds like an excuse, but it's just, I'm like finding excuses to not do it because I'm like, oh, if it's this time at night, I'd rather just go to bed and use that time to sleep.
Because you're that busy doing lots of other things.
I know, which is probably better if I still devote the time to things like yoga. And I don't regret it when I do it.
Or whatever it is you want to, not necessarily. When you find what fits, where you put a bit of this and a bit of that, and you put a few things together. I get in the morning, I do some qigong, I do some stretching, I do some yoga that I picked up bits and pieces over, and it's a sequence that lasts me about 30 minutes, but it's a go-to. I try and do it 3 times a week. Not, but it's because I feel I want to. That's the right way around. Is that you find you want to do these things rather than have to do these things, and that makes the change.
Yeah, just trying to get that switch in my mind. I think once I do it, I remember why it's good.
Often the way, and that's why going to a class is so good, because then someone shows you what to do, and it's so much easier to turn up to a class than turn up for yourself sometimes, isn't it?
Yeah, the most relaxed I ever was when I had an actual. I used to have like a subscription to like a yoga class when I was in Japan, and I was so into it. I was so like in a good place, like mentally and stuff. And then I just haven't really found one here that I fall in love with. So I need to find maybe something online that feels similar. Like I really liked the relaxing kind of yoga instead of the, I don't know, when I've ever tried yoga here, it seems a bit intense and exercisey, which I didn't like. So yeah, I guess finding that online.
Well, let me know how you get on. I can give you some pointers, but it'll be interesting to see what you find.
Yeah. I'd love to try out qigong though. I've never really tried anything about that. I've heard people talk about it online though, so yeah, I have to have some YouTube searches and see what I can find.
Yeah, or I mean, with the light centre here, so there's lots of disciplines. They have a yoga centre here.
Oh, okay.
And so people will be dropping in, and there's therapy rooms here. This is why I'm here, working as a therapist through. And they've got them all over London. And there are lots of, the same as Try Yoga, isn't it? They're the people who get these wellness centres where we can practice therapies in them, but then there's also a wealth of classes that are, a lot of them are online. So, you know, if you find a centre that you feel attracted to, or teachers you feel that you like, and that you might not be able to get there every week, but you can certainly join one of their classes in your living room, and they're live streamed, so you feel that you're connected. Have a look at maybe doing some yin yoga or some qigong breathing, or give yourself the freedom to
try new things.
3 hours or 4 hours a week in your own 3 different sessions. Find out what you find, and then share that information, because no doubt there's lots of people looking for similar, how to interact with these things, and,
I'm sure
then make themselves breathe more easily and relax. And
yeah, definitely. And I'm sure there's other people struggling with maybe similar things to what I'm saying. So
see a lot.
Find time and
and the portal way in is through something like acupuncture. It gives you the initial, but ultimately what you're wanting to find is how to find that relaxed, calm inner state, so you can access it whenever you want. You're not dependent on something that can lead you there. Ultimately, the change comes internally, and that's where wellness comes, because you have this well-being that you're looking after yourself. But many people are not in a position to feel or know what that is, and need some guidance. And, I think what a lot of the therapies and a lot of the good healing is about, really, is leading people to discover that part of themselves. We'll give you some acupuncture. Do you mind if I...
Oh yeah, I just touched that.
I'm going to use just below your tummy button. There's a great source, which is your centre of gravity. You can lift energy up through that point. Of course, we can like some...
I need to roll these up as well.
That's all good. I'll leave you with a buzzer if you need to call me.
Oh, okay.
I'll leave you in for about 30 minutes.
Yes, I always fall asleep, almost.
Absolutely, relax into the music, just simple breathing.
It's probably very good for
gentle
me.
breath's okay, as long as you let yourself fill with it. We often say to breathe into below your tummy button, this lower dantian, slowly filling up from there, which is your source of gravity, and then slowly emptying. And some basic meditations you could do, which is like an in and an out breath. You're just sort of aware of breathing in and breathing out. Simple as that. And it's like you sort of feel the air breathing in through your nostrils. But the idea is you gently breathe in and breathe out. You might count 1. Breathe in, breathe out. Might count 2. You might forget all about counting because you're thinking of something else, or you fall asleep. It's all meditation. It's just being aware of gently letting the mind relax into the breath. Letting go.
It's been a long time since I've had acupuncture done.
Okay, not too uncomfortable?
No.
Some might be slightly stronger than others, but really there's no pain at all. So we'll open up the central points for you here.
Oh yeah, I can feel it more on my hands.
How are you feeling with the heat? I know you were saying you're sensitive to heat. Is it too much, do you think?
No, it's okay actually.
Have it over your tummy here. And this one I'm going to work onto your heart. Meridian, heart 7.
Okay, keep it up.
Is that comfortable to leave it central?
Yeah, that's okay, yeah.
Yeah, great. One on the forehead. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Leave that there. So just gently letting yourself fully relax. Come back to you in about half an hour.
Thank you. Sleepy.
Yeah, absolutely. Let that settle in. We'll be active over the next 48 hours. We'll make those changes internally and then we'll plateau and stabilise.
Okay.
Follow up when you're ready. Could be as early as next week if you wanted to.
Okay.
It's all online booking, so you can
Yeah, it was really easy to book this
do
time.
that.
Yeah.
And will you take these with you?
Yeah.
Take two of those. You can take them at the same time. 2 tablets a day for 30 days.
Okay.
And if you want me to repeat the prescription, I can, either directly or come and see me, one of the two. I'll give you a paper copy. I can always send you an electric copy.
Oh, okay, that would be great, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'll send that receipt to you now and book in online when you're next ready to come
Okay,
and
thank
follow
you
up.
so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.
I see you too.